The opening scene features North Korea launching an invasion on South Korea 5 years after the end of World War II. We are introduced to a young girl named Sol, joyfully chasing the butterflies in her garden. During this, her parents surprise her with a homemade bicycle, which makes the little girl very happy. Her father helps her in riding it, portraying a beautiful moment between the two. However, their happiness is short-lived, as the village experiences a sudden deafening explosion, killing several people. It turns out to be the North Korean soldiers, who are on the verge of capturing the land. Reacting quickly, Sol's father asks his family to stay somewhere safe, while he joins the other villagers to convince the soldiers to stop attacking them. Sol's mother hides the little girl under a culvert bridge and consoles her to stay there before leaving to find her father. Tragically, all the villagers get killed, leaving Sol alone. The scene then cuts to Iskenderun, Turkey, where a young man named Ali is impatiently waiting for his friend Süleyman to head to work. Along the way, Ali grabs a painting of Marilyn Monroe, fueled by his immense admiration for her. Meanwhile, a girl named Gatseteki calls out for her friend Nuran, telling her to get ready because the boys will be arriving in the alley soon. Soon after, the boys ride past the alley, and they exchange a romantic gaze with each other. Following this, the two girls huddle in the middle of the alley. Gatseteki then expresses her concern, as she recalls her father mentioning that the boys might be called up for deployment to South Korea for war. However, Nuran brushes off the topic, believing that they're just young college students who aren't yet prepared for military service. Afterwards, the boys ride their bicycles to the 39th Military Infantry Division Command. There, Süleyman meets with the major, Iskenderun, who informs him that they are going to dispatch a group of young men to South Korea as reinforcement, along with other military troops. The major considers Süleyman as one of the proficient soldiers needed and tells him to get ready for the departure. Süleyman respects the major's decision and agrees to go to war. Later on, he informs his friends about the deployment with Price. He also asks one of them to relay this message to Nuran. That same night, Süleyman goes to meet Nuran, who is clearly upset by the news of his departure. She reveals that she's an orphan with no one else to depend on. Süleyman assures her that he'll return as soon as the mission ends. She then tearfully tells him not to forget her, as he's the only one whom she can rely on. Before departing, they share an emotional hug and bid farewell with a kiss. The following day, while sailing away in the ship, Süleyman writes letters to his family, friends, and his beloved Nuran. To his family and love, he shares only brighter aspects of his journey, while he informs his friends about being equipped with weapons. Later, Lieutenant Mesut asks Süleyman to fetch some diesel because he's part of the motorized unit. In response, Süleyman suggests he siphon some from a jeep in storage. During their conversation, Lieutenant Mesut reveals that he's bothered by ants in his cabin, and as a solution, Süleyman advises him to feed them instead of killing them. Hearing this, Lieutenant Mesut harbors doubt regarding Süleyman's readiness for war because he can't even kill an ant. Well, Mesut can't even figure out how to. Which is worse? After a long journey, the troops finally arrive in South Korea, where they are warmly welcomed by the citizens. Before long, the commander orders them to pack up, as they will be immediately heading to Daegu City to meet the South Korean soldiers. Upon their arrival, Major Fuat informs the troops that despite being captured by the North Korean soldiers, the peacekeeping forces drove back the enemy to its borders and freed South Korea from the invasion. Now, their final destination is Kunuri, and the team proceeds towards it. Upon reaching there, Ali and Lieutenant Mesut engage in a heated debate about their perspectives regarding the war. Süleyman tries to intervene, but just then, the North Koreans suddenly launch their attack. This prompts the three of them to run toward Commander Selal's cabin. Inside, the commander is trying to establish emergency contact with the 9th Corps, but communication signals are now disrupted by the explosion. Sensing the emergency of calling a backup, the commander decides to head towards 9th Corps Command Center. Recognizing Süleyman's driving skills and Lieutenant Mesut's proficiency as an interpreter, the commander assembles a team in order to set out to their destination on a jeep. As the team drives through a village, they come under sudden enemy attack. Fortunately, they manage to jump off the vehicle moments before it explodes. Ali promptly gets up and uses his pistol to fend off the attackers bravely. With their vehicle gone, the team decides to continue the rest of their journey on foot. While walking, they hear a noise, prompting the soldiers to pull out their guns and stay alert. Shortly after, Süleyman investigates the sound and eventually discovers the innocent Sol sitting beside her deceased mother. Feeling bad for her, Süleyman offers his hand, suggesting the little girl come with him. Although hesitant at first, Sol soon agrees, and Süleyman takes her back to his team. The entire group feels sad for the girl, so they decide to take her along. long. Upon arriving at the 9th Corps, the commander heads inside to report about the attack on their base, while the others wait outside. During this, Ali suggests that they provide the girl with a new name, since they can't talk with her due to the language barrier. As a result, they name her Ayla because of her moon-like face. Then, they realize that changing her name didn't help with the language barrier. Afterwards, the American commander conducts a meeting in which he states that the war has just begun. Moreover, he claims that it has taken on a multinational aspect, with China supporting North Korea and Turkey supporting South Korea. Along with this information, the American commander offers the team with some additional resources, including another vehicle and personnel, Captain Cage and Lieutenant Lee. Their role is to assist the team and guide them through a new undisclosed route. Following this, the team continues on their journey, with Ayla alongside them. Süleyman seems to be taking good care of her, despite the language barrier. A while later, the team stops in the middle of the road. They discuss an optimal route to reach Kunuri in a shorter period of time. When they're all set to go, Captain Cage's Jeep doesn't start, so they summon Süleyman to fix it. However, when he tries to step out of the vehicle, Ayla grabs his arm, giving him a sign not to let go of her. Due to this, he places her on the vehicle's bonnet, letting her watch him as he repairs. After successfully getting the job done, they are about to leave, but just then, a North Korean sniper shoots a South Korean soldier. This triggers intense gunfire between the two parties, killing several soldiers in the process. In a hurry, Süleyman grabs Ayla and shelters her under the Jeep. Facing a barrage of enemy attacks, he improvises a bomb using a gas bottle and a tire, killing the incoming enemies. Thankfully, the sound of the explosion is heard by the rest of their teams, prompting them to rush to the rescue. In the meantime, Süleyman gets into a fight with one of the enemy soldiers, during which he gets stabbed in the shoulder. He is nearly killed, but Lieutenant Lee manages to shoot down the enemy in the nick of time. Meanwhile, the news of the outbreak of war spreads far and wide, causing worry for Süleyman's family and his beloved back home. The next day, Süleyman regains his consciousness in a medical camp and finds Ayla holding his hand. Everyone at the camp praises his bravery, highlighting his courageous actions in the previous enemy encounter. They also reveal that Ayla remained by his side the entire night. A short while later, Süleyman learns that the Koreans had attacked the team because they wanted to take Ayla with them. Regardless, she refuses to leave Süleyman, even though it's clear now that it's endangering everybody. So, Lieutenant Lee decides to talk to the headquarters. In the subsequent meeting, Lee suggests that they temporarily house the children in the headquarters until a safer place is arranged for them. Thankfully, the senior officials accept the suggestion, even though it needlessly endangers everybody. The following day, the major informs Süleyman that the war is getting intense, making it difficult for them to keep Ayla with them. Upon hearing this, Süleyman decides to leave her with an officer named Sadiq. The latter assures him that they'll treat Ayla as his child. He even reveals a warm coat that he made for her. However, Süleyman struggles to leave her behind, as Ayla continues to follow him. As a result of this, Sadiq takes charge and seats Ayla in the Jeep. But when he is distracted, she sneaks back into Süleyman's Jeep. After this, Süleyman and the team drive towards the awards ceremony, where the soldiers are going to receive medals for their bravery. Once there, Ayla surprisingly runs towards Süleyman when he is receiving recognition from the South Korean captain. Because of this, the team is forced to bring Ayla back to the base. As the days pass by, Süleyman spends much of his time taking care of Ayla, while also practicing with his troops. Eventually, everyone in the camp establishes an attachment to the little girl. One night, Ayla struggles with sleeping after hearing the lightning outside, so she goes to sleep beside Süleyman. The next morning, she utters a word for the very first time, which surprises everyone in the camp.
Bitcoin.
This prompts the team to start teaching her the Turkish language during their free time, and also letting her watch Turkish movies. At one point, Ayla refers to Süleyman as her father, which touches him deeply. Now that she knows Süleyman's name, she hears some team members discuss their fates, with one of them suggesting that Süleyman might die. This causes Ayla to break down into tears, and she rushes to Süleyman to share this. In order to cheer her up, he claims that the soldiers were talking about others. That's right, gaslight the child. In the next scene, Süleyman, Ali, and Mesut take Ayla to Tokyo for a children's holiday. She thoroughly enjoys her time with the three of them. They purchase dresses for her, relish delicious meals, dance, and capture precious moments in photographs. After such an enjoyable day, Süleyman suddenly gets emotional because of the thoughts of having to abandon Ayla once he returns to Turkey. The next day, Sadiq informs Süleyman of the family who are claiming to be Ayla's relatives. Hearing this, Süleyman hands her a piece of note before heading to meet the family alone. Upon reaching the provided address, he discovers that it's a trap set by the North Koreans, who immediately start beating him up. Meanwhile, back in the base, Ali freaks out when he realizes that Süleyman is missing. Fortunately, Ayla knows the address, so she guides Ali and Sadiq to the place. The men immediately beat up the bandits and rescue Süleyman from them. After a while, the major announces a small concert featuring Marilyn Monroe. Upon hearing this, Ali expresses his wish to attend it, as he's a huge fan of hers. But sadly, his duties prevent him from going. As a result of this, Süleyman promises Ali that he'll obtain Marilyn's autograph for him. "Can't touch myself to an autograph," says Ali. Accompanied by Ayla and Lieutenant Mesut, Süleyman attends the concert, and with the help of Ayla, they successfully secure Marilyn's autograph, with a kiss mark on it. Meanwhile, back at the base, Ali is gazing at a picture of Marilyn Monroe when he is fatally shot by a North Korean sniper on the border. At long last, lending logic to the title of the movie, Die Hard. After learning of this tragic news, Süleyman is overwhelmed with grief and cannot hold his tears back. He then decides to leave behind a last gift for Ali, the autographed picture of Marilyn Monroe. 1 year later, the major announces that the current batch of soldiers will be returning home, making way for new troops to join. Despite this, Süleyman chooses to stay for another year as a volunteer because he can't leave Ayla. He writes a heartfelt letter to Nuran, informing her of his decision, and then bids farewell to his friends. Later on, the commander summons Süleyman into his cabin and informs him that it's time for them to return home because they'll be handing over the command to new Turkish officers. Furthermore, they cannot allow Süleyman to take Ayla with him since she's Korean. Left with no other option, Süleyman takes Ayla to her new home, the Ankara school. With a heavy heart, he starts to walk away, but she continues to follow him. In a desperate attempt to bring her along, Süleyman comes up with an idea to hide her in his suitcase and take her with him on the ship. Unfortunately, his plan fails when Mesut discovers that Ayla is missing. Despite his desperate pleas, he isn't allowed to take Ayla. Hence, he is forced to leave her behind. Before departing, he makes a heartfelt promise to return to her and ensures that they'll be together from then onwards. Following this, Süleyman finally returns to Turkey, only to discover that Nuran is already married to someone else. This news leaves him devastated, and with a broken heart, he goes to Nimet. He marries Nimet before returning back home. The days pass by, but their marriage appears to lack happiness because Süleyman's mind is always occupied by Ayla. Generously, Nimet makes every effort to establish contact with Ayla, but fails. The scene then fast forwards 47 years, and we see everyone is gathered outside their homes due to an earthquake. However, the old Süleyman goes back into his house to retrieve an old photograph of him with Ayla. Even after an extended period of time, he spends his time watching Korean television, news, and games in the hope of finding any information about Ayla. He even dreams of Ayla visiting him in Turkey. One day, Süleyman and Nimet receive a call from a Korean news reporter who wants to help Süleyman reunite with Ayla. They propose making a documentary and assisting in the search. Süleyman eagerly agrees, and he is filled with hope one more time. Following this, the news team begins conducting diligent research to find Ayla. After several years, the news crew finally succeeds in locating her. They immediately arrange a reunion with Ayla in South Korea. After all those years of staying apart, Süleyman and Ayla reunite in Seoul, ending the movie with this emotional scene. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.